It's always a pleasure to welcome this man back to the show. It's Benjamin Francis Leftwich. How the hell are you
Hey man,
doing?
I'm very good, man. How are you? It's always good to see you, sir.
Oh no, it's good. Yeah, I'm well, thank you. It's a good start to the year. We've got a lot of nice new music coming out, and
Come on.
obviously that's why you're here because you have a brand new album on the way.
Yes, I do. Yeah, some things break out February 9th.
And I've had a sneak preview, and with all your music, you seem to have a direct line into my soul. Like it's just so beautifully written. It's just
Thank you,
ridiculous.
man. Thank you so much. That is what we aim for, and jokes aside, that means really does mean the world to me. So thank you.
I mean, there was one line in particular when I was listening through on the first time through that as soon as I heard it, it just had me in pieces. It's just so like sometimes you get like metaphors and songs and all this sort of stuff, and sometimes you just get it straight. And in Don't Give Up on the Light, just the won't give up on you, don't give up on me. If you're hurting now, you won't always be. Is such a perfect line. It's I was
Mate,
just like,
thank
oh,
you. Man, thanks, man. It's funny you said like sometimes you get it in metaphor and sometimes you get it straight, and we've gone way straighter lyrically on this album than we have before, and my fear has lessened thanks to some of the paths I've started walking, and I really appreciate that you felt that because it was intentional.
oh, good. Yeah, no, I was like, this is just, it's just beautiful. All your, I've loved you for years now, and it always is just
Thank you.
beautifully written. But that line in particular, I was just like, yeah, it really got me. I was having a bad day, and I was
Yeah.
listening to it. I was like, I'm now a mess.
Thank you so much.
um, but yeah, and also something else I noticed about this album was I feel like there's definitely more piano on this album than ever before.
Yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
that like a conscious step away from always just being on guitar?
Man, it was pretty. I wouldn't say it was conscious. I think it was just kind of heartfelt. I mean, when me and Jimmy Hogarth, who produced this album, started originally kind of chipping away at it, like the first kind of trip to the cold face, it was originally going to be called Under the Stars at the SU Bar, and it was going to be like a concept album about the savagery of college and university and the suffering of it and the brokenheartedness and um of the whole deal always. Um, and there's an album by the singer of the Blue Nile called Paul Buchanan. The album's called Mid Air, and I really wanted to do like a really stripped piano vocal album. There's a song in a movie About Time by his song called Midair by Paul Buchanan. It's a song on the album title. And I'm lucky that I write with so many artists. I know a lot of great piano players, and two piano players who are all over this album. They've got different styles. Is Jamie Squire, who's the MD of 1975, and my friend John Green, who's an amazing songwriter based in Nashville, who I do a lot of stuff with. And so I'm like more out of the way of myself than I've ever been, man. So if someone comes in who can play guitar and piano better than I can, which they absolutely can, um, it's funny, man. My manager was actually like, "Oh, you can just learn the piano parts for 4." I'm like, "What are you on about? These guys have literally been playing piano for 25 years. They're like virtuosically talented." He's like, "You can." Anyway, that's the side swipe, and they played these piano parts, and I was like involved and like knocking them around, try this, try that, hit me like this, hit me, and I started singing, and that's how a lot of the songs came about. So my thing more than ever is always what's best for the song. Like where's the vein, and what do we have to get rid of to get the song even more straight, like you described.
Yeah. Because one thing I quite liked from the last album was the last album there was I think you had a lot more drums and a bit more percussion and production and stuff. And then like you said, this one is more stripped back. There's a couple of synths in there in places, but mostly
Yeah,
throughout it is just here's a guitar or here is a piano and here is a voice and the songs are all just I keep saying it, but they're just beautiful songs. They're just very well
thank you.
written, well constructed, and just very emotive tracks. The whole album, I've listened to it twice, and each time I'm just going, this is it's just beautiful.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah, that's the thing that matters most to me, the song. And for whatever reason, obviously I'm human and I have ambition and stuff, but I've never. I think some artists and some bands, and rightly so, and this isn't a character judgment. I think they're well within their rights and probably smarter than I am to do this. They consider like what's going to get it to pop out of the speakers, or what's the right thing to do economically, shall we say, to put it politely.
Yeah.
And I've never had that, probably much to my own kind of commercial detriment. But dude, I would happily write ballads and love songs for the rest of my life. I love them. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I write some other kinds of songs with different artists, but I'm, I know where my bread is buttered. You know,
And you do it well. Why spoil it?
mate. Thank you so much. I'm just plugging my phone in. Yeah, I really feel like it's the best. I think it's the best album I've made. At least I feel like that, and maybe that'll change in the future. But I'm really happy with it.
But I like that. I like the fact that this is the thing that you're most proud of because it's the most recent thing you've come up with, and I love that.
Yeah.
Also, I was reading so New York, the current single you've
Yes.
got,
Yeah.
and you started writing it with Matt Healy, obviously from the 1975. Obviously, you've known each other for a long time on the same label.
Yeah.
Is this the first
Yeah.
time you like worked with him on a track?
I mean, this story has got a little bit out of hand. What happened was, I wrote. Firstly, I love Matty, and they're one of my favorite bands. What happened was, yeah, we've been. I wouldn't say we're friends, but we've been friendly for a long time, and there's some level of, well, definitely from my end, like I'm obsessed with them. I think they're a great band, and there's like a mutual respect there, and label mates and stuff. I wrote a song on Zoom called New York with my friend Josh Finn, whose artist name is Wounded Bear. We really loved it. It started off as a joke kind of country thing, and I started by writing it as a joke country song. My girlfriend at the time recorded a voice memo. I was like, when I get an idea, like to anyone around me, I'm like, quick, can you record this quickly? And I was like, man, like, there's something in this. And then took it and wrote a song. There's a song as you hear it, start to finish, New York on Zoom. Um, Text it to Matty. I don't know why we were speaking at the time, but it was pandemic, so it's just like, yeah, how you doing? Text it to him. He's like, I love this so much. Can I have it for 75, or can me and my friend do a version of it? And I was like, of course, man, like whatever, My thing is, whoever can get the most songs into most hearts whoever can get the song into the most
Yeah.
hearts should do it. And he can get songs into many more hearts than I can. That's crystal clear.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's like jamming it, and then like a video goes on the internet. He's like, he opens for Phoebe Bridges. There's a surprise slot, and he's written this beautiful bridge for it. And we're like texting on that. It sounds super sick, man. Yeah, of course. Like go. He like freestyles the bridge to it. That bridge ends up becoming the bridge is summer na 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 eating stuff off of motorbikes, and that bridge ends up becoming the chorus or part of the band. So I think, and I love that song part of the band, but he wrote it, like it's a bridge he wrote himself, and then wrote the rest of the song. It's a beautiful song, one of the most savage opening lines to a song I think I've ever. She was part of the Air Force, I was part of the band. I always used to burst into her hand in my imagination. I mean, it's pretty wild. Sorry, I maybe shouldn't have said that on the radio. We maybe need to edit that, but
That's fine. We should edit.
Yeah, okay. And then we ended up doing a bit of work on their latest album, on a song called Oh Caroline and a song called Human 2, where I just had a very little hand in poking a few bits around. So big love for them. But yeah, it's a bit of a wild story, yeah.
Well, you can play the press release. The press release said you'd be working with Matt Healy when I was. Oh, that's cool.
That doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me. That's never come out of my mouth, but it doesn't surprise me that's on there.
But it almost sounded like a little bit of like a love song to New York. And like you talk about how great a place is, which we recently just went on holiday to New York and came back about 2 months ago, and it is one of the best places in the world.
Yeah, I mean it's a great place, but when you're there, when you're by yourself, when you're 20 on your first American tour, and you're missing your friends back home, God, it can be a lonely place as well. It can be a cold place, like a Chernobyl energy or something.
Yeah, and also very easily get lost if you're completely by yourself because there's a lot of
100%.
people.
I mean, the pizza's really good there, man. The pizza, oh my gosh, that New York deep dish pizza, and dude, and yeah, like the diners in America and stuff. I'm so into that.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I do love my food, so I do love America.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
So, where is actually your favorite place to go on tour? Because obviously, England, you're from it, so obviously it's great. But like to go visit somewhere else, like which is your favorite place when you go? Oh yeah, we're making a tour. We're heading here. Yes, I'm up for that.
Man, I'm so lucky that I've been to so many places, and I think there's two parts to it. One is that the gig is different to the day. Like the gig, you only know what the vibe is when you get on stage and you
Yeah,
feel the energy from the crowd, and that can be Salt Lake City on a Tuesday night can be a way bigger vibe than like LA on a Saturday night. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But in terms of, I mean, I speak about this with artists I work with a lot, but there's something about touring in America and Canada, especially when you get to like the Bible Belt, deep south, and like the more rural areas of Canada, like Saskatoon and like Winnipeg and Vancouver Island, where you get right in the mix. It's like being in a movie, man. It feels like an adventure. It feels like you're in the Famous Five or something. It's it's really wonderful. But we've ended up in mad places. I did a tour in China once. I went to like Guangzhou province and Beijing and Shanghai and places like this, and that's cool as well. It's just a whole different beast. It's the one of the greatest gifts I've been given in this life is getting to travel and meet so many different people in all corners of the world.
is there anywhere that you've not played that you'd love, like a country or an like place you go, oh, I really want to get there. I really want to do a gig there.
Um,
It's got you thinking.
New Zealand.
Not been to New Zealand.
No, I had a tour with Michael Kiwanuka back in the day, but my dad got sick, so I couldn't do it. But I would love to go there. Um, South Africa, where my dad was from. Uh, South America is somewhere we haven't been. That would be I get a lot of messages from Brazil. So like Brazil or like Argentina. I'd go anywhere, man, to be honest.
Anyway,
I'll go anywhere that'll take me, I'll go, man, honestly.
so the thing I love about New Zealand is my wife keeps going, oh, she keeps trying to persuade me to go to Australia for a holiday because we've got friends
Okay.
out there and it'd be nice to go see them. She's like, oh, and then when we're there, we can just pop to New Zealand. I went, you can't just pop to New Zealand from Australia. It's still like a 9 hour flight. She's like, what? And I was like,
Is it?
yeah. I was like, they're
Is
not just
it?
next. They're
Yeah.
not just like next door. It's not like us popping to France. You just jump on the
Yeah, true.
Eurostar.
True. I mean, I was in Australia at Christmas, man, and like to fly across Australia is like 7 or 8 hours. So I guess you're right. It's not like a 30-minute easy jet over to New Zealand from Sydney. It's a serious endeavor.
Yeah, the thing that annoyed me because we went when I was a kid, we went to Australia because my parents' friends moved down there, and like on the back of the seat on the aeroplane, you get like the little plane that you follow, and it says how long's left. We hit the coast of Australia. I was like, yes, that's the home run, then, isn't it? Like we're going to
Yeah,
Sydney. When you hit the coast of England, it's like, oh, we're descending into London. You're like, great, and it was like
totally.
4.5 hours, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
still watch two films.
totally. That's the way to do a long plane journey though, man. To like get some films you really want to see or like a box set and just bang, just go through it. And you're like on the second leg to Australia, I was like, oh, it's like second leg, uh 8 hours. I'm like, three films and I'm there, you know? So that's how I square it off in my own mind, at least.
Because also, yeah, you must do an awful lot of flying.
I do. I used to do way more. We used to tour way more, but at the moment when we're just like getting an album together, I just fly for like I went on like one. I went to see my family at Christmas, so it was well nice.
Yeah. So with this album, obviously, something about break. What was the sort of mindset you were in when you first started writing? And also, when did you start writing this? Was it just after last album? Was it any part of it like a crossover? Because sometimes you have songs that kind of like didn't make the last cut, but sort of parts
Yeah,
made it into the new album.
man. I mean, I think there's a few things that I've every time I do a new album, I always go through this process with my manager where we like listen to a few old demos, like, oh, maybe this could be on there. This was cool, and but every time we're like, it's just old, it was like a song from a previous creative incarnation, creative mode. Um, I, I met Jimmy Hogarth, who produced the bulk of this album, at a Spotify writing camp in at the end of 2019. So probably before To Carry a Whale was even out. And we just became really good friends. We started writing with a lot of artists, like Molly Payton, who's actually from New Zealand, was our first artist, and then ended up doing bits with other people. And there's a songwriter called John Green who works at Jimmy's studio, or who used to work at Jimmy's studio. And we started jamming songs and kind of making like country songs, and I'd sing them, and Jimmy would send the bounce back. I'd be like, "This is amazing!" Like Jimmy was just like nailing these productions. Like pretty much a lot of the songs on the album. I'm always saying sorry to some things. Break are the first songs we wrote for it, and they were as is. So Jimmy was nailing this, and me and my manager were like, "Let's get Jimmy to do the album." We just kept collecting songs, and because I'm so busy with the co-writing thing, we'd just go in every now and then. I'd have an idea. I'd send it to Jimmy. We made a lot of mistakes. We did some stuff that we didn't like. I did some stuff that he didn't like. He did some stuff that I didn't like. And through chipping away, we got this beautiful body of work that we were kind of staring down till the very last moment. So it came about very organically. And in answer to the first question, the mindset I was in when recording it was like a mindset of near to surrender. I wouldn't say total surrender, but like kind of a spiritual, just like I just want to sing and say what is in my heart and not hide anywhere. And I think that's what gives you that straight feeling that you get from like a lyric like "Don't give up on you, won't give up," "Don't give up on me, won't give up on you."
Yeah.
That kind of straightness, yeah. I don't want to sit here and quote my own lyrics, but you know what I mean.
Let's just start from track one.
Yeah, totally. I just start doing a walkthrough. Yeah, like, well, I hear like 3 hours later.
That's one way to do an interview. But I remember last time we spoke. Obviously, it was to carry well just come out. But you were saying then you would just literally. I think it was like not that when we spoke. It hadn't been that long since you just wrote a song with or had been working with Holly Humberston.
Yes, yeah. I've written a few songs with Holly, and she's one of my best friends, and I love her. She's an amazing songwriter. It's one of the gifts of my life that we became friends, and we've written a few songs together. And she's truly an unbelievable songwriter, and she's an unbelievable person. I'll share this story actually. 'Cause I have not shared this on radio before. Long story short, I went through a breakup, and this was after Holly got her Brit Award. She got to London to do a session, and had somehow got the tube and then walked 20 minutes to my house and left me like a card and a bit of cake and just posted it through the door. Didn't even knock, just saying, thinking of, do you know what I mean? That's the kind of
Yeah,
person she is. Not everyone does that, man. She is a giver and one of the best songwriters. I mean, my favorite song on her album is "Paint My Bedroom Black," and I didn't have any hand in that. I mean, I just that song just tears. You know, um, suddenly you don't hate yourself and now you're flying. It's just like, oh my god, it's almost unnecessary. You know what I mean? It's just so beautiful.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's a really sweet story as well. That's really
Yeah,
nice.
she's a legend.
Yeah. I mean, we saw her. She headlined Bar on the Farm. Was it last year? Or
Yeah, man,
no.
I was there. I
Yeah,
was
we
there.
saw you as well, but
Yeah, I
wandering
was
around the
that.
camp.
Yeah, oh yeah. I was at the Holly show. She was so good.
Yeah, and that's a festival I love. I know you've played it a few times now as well.
Mate, many times I get wheeled in every year. You know what I mean?
It's not Bar on
Josh
the
is on
Farm
the
without
phone.
Ben.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love playing there. I've got a lot of good memories there, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, obviously, we haven't got much time left because I know you've got more interviews to come. So,
No problem.
what's the like the next stage? So, obviously, we've got the album on the 9th. There
Yeah,
is a small like UK tour that we're getting as well.
yeah.
Is it then kind of waiting for festival season, or are you touring elsewhere around the world?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be doing a few festivals, and I will definitely be touring over the ocean at some point. Which direction we'll fly over the ocean, I'm not quite sure, but somewhere over an ocean, we'll definitely be playing gigs. So, I'm really, I'm so proud of this album. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'm indebted to the people that helped me make it. And I'm looking forward to touring and hopefully see you down there, man. And also, if you ever have any more questions, man, just call me up. Do you know what I mean? Jessica's got my number, and I know it's always tight when we do it like this. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
No, oh, that's amazing. And like I said, I've listened through twice now, because I got sent it last night, and some things break. It's just beautiful. You're lyrically and just musically, you're just one of my favorite singer songwriters.
Thank you so much.
I just think it's just beautifully written, crafted, and it's just especially this album. Like I said, straight talking, and it's just wonderful. And
Thank
just
you.
thank you for it.
Mate, thank you so much, Simon. Always good to see you, man, and God bless you.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
See you soon, brother.
Thank you.
Bye, man.